Yoga with Nicole. Today, our intention is falling with grace, and I've chosen that because as we are recording these classes, we are in the middle of winter. It's prior to an ice storm, and so the theme of literally falling and having the potential for injury has been arising. And it also applies to the larger, grander theme of falling in life and having unsuccessful moments. So we might literally fall and bruise our knees, or we could fall and bruise our egos. So we're going to practice falling with grace, and the way we're going to approach that is to be here now. So as we're moving through class and doing our balancing postures, we're keeping our mind grounded with the present moment and staying aware of where we are stepping and how we are responding to the flow of our movements. So grab your mat, some water, and I would suggest 2 blocks just in case. Go ahead and grab those things, and I'll see you in a few moments. Welcome back to Yoga with Nicole, and our theme of the day, falling with grace, which leads us into the intention to be here now. So let's start in a seated posture. I have my 2 blocks here just in case. You can sit on one or both if that feels better for your body. You can sit on your shins and knees. I will be here cross-legged, and we'll start by closing our eyes together. You can keep your eyes open and focus directly in front of your body if that feels better. Hands resting on the legs. Coming together to ground ourselves and gather all of our attention, bringing it to our mats so we can focus on our movements for the next 45 minutes or so. And as you're settling into your seat, start to notice your breath. Don't change a thing about it just yet. Just notice how you're breathing on this particular day, in this particular moment. Attention to your breath. Let's focus on breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, incorporating our Ujjayi breath, feeling that whispering vibration in the throat, noticing the expansion throughout the chest and shoulders as you inhale, and the slight contraction as you release each breath through your exhale. Idea of being here now in this present moment. We'll add movement with the arms, synchronizing that movement with the breath, scooping air in as we inhale and reach up overhead. Exhale, palms and fingers together. Bring your hands directly down through the center of your body. Inhale, scoop up, lots of air. Exhale, drag it down. Press all the air out. 2 more rounds. Inhale, big scoop. Exhale, press all the air out. 1 more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull it in and down. Tip forward into a fold. Don't adjust your seat. Keep it as is. We're just simply tipping forward, Reaching the hands in front of the body. Maybe you stay up on the hands or lower down onto elbows and forearms. Use your blocks as needed. Inhale to lift the face and open the throat. Exhale, add a rounding of the back and a tucking of the chin. 3 more rounds. Inhale, lift the face, open the throat. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, open the throat. Expand the collarbones. Exhale, chin to chest. 1 more time. Inhale, expand the collarbones. Exhale, separate the shoulder blades in the upper back. And come all the way up. I'm going to turn my body to the side and we will together go down all the way onto our backs. When you get there, bring your knees into your chest and gently rock around side to side, massaging your back against the ground. Feeling your foundation, which is now the back side of your body. Flap your feet, loosen the ankles. We'll stretch into happy baby here. So we'll reach our hands and arms between the legs and reach for either the shins, that outer feet, or wrapping the peace fingers around the big toes. And we'll start to expand the legs, opening up into our happy baby, finding any movement that feels good for your body. Maybe you straighten the legs, maybe the knees stay bent and you rock side to side. We're bringing warmth and aliveness to the legs, the hips, the low back. Check in with your breath here. Stay for 3 more rounds of breath. 1 round of breath is a full inhale and a full exhale. You can come to stillness as an option. Adjust your hands in a way so that your head and shoulders can stay relaxed on the ground as well as your sacrum. So if you find that you're lifting up to reach for a point of connection with the hands, maybe slide the hands down even to the backs of the legs so that we can bring the head and shoulders down. From here, hold onto your right shin and extend your left leg out. Keep your left leg active, flex your foot. We're bringing the right thigh up and in toward the ribs. Up toward the face, in toward the ribs. From here, we'll add movement. Rest your arms by your side. Extend your leg up toward the sky. Straighten it down toward the ground. Bend the knee again. Bring it up toward the face. Extend the legs. Lower the leg down toward the ground. Keep going with this circular pattern here, like a big wave of fluidity. Bending the knee, bringing the thigh in toward the belly and the ribs, extending up and pushing it away. Couple more rounds. Inhaling as you bend. Exhaling as you extend and press the leg away. One more time. Bring the knee in toward the chest. Loosely wrap your hands around the shin. Same thing here that we did in our child's pose. Our head and our shoulders are relaxed. We're using more of the biceps to hold on to the leg with the hands. And notice that a lot of the action is coming from the thigh and the psoas muscle. So there's action in the biceps as well as the psoas in the hip flexor. Stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. Good. Release your legs, step your foot, both feet onto the ground, and we'll lift up into a bridge pose. 1 vertebrae at a time, lifting the pelvis, lifting the thighs, wiggling our way up to the tops of the shoulders. And we stay here for 3 rounds of breath, in and out through the nose. And notice how this shape alters the movement of your breath, especially as we're compressing the throat space. We're still focusing on lengthening and expanding the inhale, even though we have that compression in the throat. One more inhale. Exhale, separate the shoulder blades, lower down one vertebra at a time, eventually bringing the sacrum back down to the ground, extending the right leg, bringing the left knee in toward the chest. Knee toward the chest, thigh toward the ribs. We're flexing the right foot, keeping the right leg active. Now shoot that right leg actively away from the rest of your body as if you're pressing against a wall. Release your head and shoulders to the ground. Use your biceps to assist with bending your left knee in toward your chest. Release your arms by your side. Extend your leg upwards. Push it away. Bend the knee in toward the chest. Extend the leg. Big circles here. Keep your right leg active. We're still pressing against that wall as we move the left leg. Using the psoas muscle to bring the knee up toward the face, extend the leg away, and push all the way away. Add your breath. Inhale as the knee comes in. Exhale to push the leg away. Big fluid circles. Bring the knee into your chest. Use your biceps to wrap your hands over the shin. Gently pull the thigh closer toward the ribs. Stay here for 2 cycles of breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Release the hands. Or actually, keep the hands where they are. Bring both knees into the chest. Flap your feet, loosen the ankles. We'll come back up to a seated posture. You can do that by rocking and rolling backwards and forwards, or tip over to your side and press your way up. From there, we'll keep our feet flat on the ground. Bring our hands behind our hips so our fingers are turning out to the sides, or all the way toward the back. From there, we're pressing our hands and our feet into the ground, lifting the thighs and the pelvis upwards. And rather than letting the head fall all the way back, we'll keep a little space between the chin and the chest. Keep pressing the thighs and the hip bones up toward the sky. Stay here for 3 cycles of breath. Slow, expansive breaths. Notice that slight contraction in the body as you exhale. Stay for 1 more breath in. Exhale, slow descend with the pelvis to the ground. Extend your legs in front and we'll tip forward into an extended leg forward fold. Reach your hands toward your feet. You can hold on to your shins, hold on to your ankles. If it's accessible, maybe the hands wrap around the feet or the big toes. Let's focus on keeping the spine straight here and the front of the torso open. So we are tipping forward, but we're not collapsing down onto the organs. We want to keep space open for our organs so we can continue breathing with length and expansion. So that might mean even being all the way upright, especially if you have tension in the backs of the legs, the hips, or the low back. Bend the knees again, step onto the feet, bring the hands behind your hips, turn your fingers out to the sides or behind you, press down with the feet and the hands, lift up with the pelvis and the thighs. Keep a little bit of space between the chin and the chest. 3 cycles of breath here. Notice the shoulder blades dragging in toward one another. So the fronts of the shoulders collarbones, the chest is expanding upwards toward the sky, and also expanding from left to right, right to left. Stay here for one more deep inhale. Exhale, lower the hips to the ground. Extend the legs one more time. Seated forward fold. Keep the chest open. That broadness across the collarbones remains. We're dragging the sits bones, those little bones underneath our butt, back away from the heels. So we're lengthening the backs of the legs. 3 more cycles of breath here. In and out through the nose. Good. Come all the way up, cross the legs. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, tip forward, hands forward, unfurl into downward facing dog. Stay in your downward dog for quite a few cycles of breath. Move in your dog, bend your knees one at a time or both together. Maintaining this triangular shape of the body. Wag your tail side to side. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, super slow motion, tiptoe your feet all the way up to your hands. Bend your knees as you need to, arriving in forward fold. So we're lifting the hips to the sky and the crown of the head to the ground. Keep your feet flat and tilt a little bit more of your weight forward into your toes. Bend your knees, slowly roll up. Head is the last thing to rise. When you get to the top, we'll pause in mountain pose. Closing the eyes or focusing the gaze at one point in front of the body. Feel your foundation on the ground. Be here now. If your mind has wandered and drifted to other spaces or has gotten distracted by your environment, come back to this present moment. Come back to the soles of your feet, grounding you toward the earth. Lift the shoulders forward and up, back and down. Big circles with the shoulders. Keep breathing as you're moving. And reverse the direction. Shoulders back, up, forward, and down. Shift your weight into your left leg. Bring your hands to your hips, pick up your right knee, bring it up toward the chest, just like we did on the ground. Right away, we're rooting actively our left leg down to the ground. Flex your top foot so the foot is active, toes are lifting up toward the knee. Slowly, so this is where it gets kind of fun because we get to test our balance and our waviness. And that's the point of it. If you fall out of these balancing postures, you just fall like that and you get right back into it. So we're staying present so that we can almost intuitively predict that a fall is going to happen and we get to catch ourselves. And for the sake of our fun, fluid, graceful flow, we get to come back to the movement, readjust ourselves. With the knee lifted, we'll bring our hands around the shin this time. And again, we're using our biceps to lift the leg up in addition to our psoas muscle. So we can play with that by just hovering the leg upwards without the hands. And then when we wrap the hands, we can feel that we have a little additional support. Step the foot down, step the feet wide, shake the hips out, and shake the arms side to side. Get loose here. We're becoming more fluid and less rigid, transforming our rigidity into fluidity. Let's shift our weight into the right leg this time. Bring the left knee up, hands to the hips. Flex your left foot so your toes are lifting toward your knee. We're activating our psoas muscle. Maybe your foot is a bit lower to the ground. It depends on the strength and flexibility in your quadricep and in your psoas. Take a deep breath in, lift your knee, reach your hands around your shin. Actively rooting the right leg down into the ground, spreading the foot wide since that is our only foundation here. So our foundation is physically smaller as opposed to lying down on our backs, but we're expanding that foundation so it's energetically larger than it physically is, providing extra stability and support. Release the leg down to the ground, step your feet wide, shake out your hips first, and then shake out the shoulders, swing the arms. Step all the way up to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Prepare for your exhale as you fold down to the ground. Inhale, lift up halfway. Use your blocks here if you need to, or slide your hands up your legs. Exhale, palms to the ground. Slow motion, tiptoe your feet all the way back into downward dog. Tailbone is reaching up toward the sky. Walk your dog out. Bend your knees, shake your hips. Inhale, look forward, separate your hands a bit wider than your shoulders. Step all the way through into a seated posture. And again, we'll come all the way down onto our backs. Bring the knees into the chest. Flap the feet and the ankles. Bring your feet down to the ground. We're going to open up the right leg. So the right sole of the foot is pressing against the left inner thigh. We'll extend the left leg, coming into tree pose or half Baddha Konasana. And you can adjust your right foot so that it's either against the shin of your left leg or above the knee, pressing against the inner thigh. We want to keep the left knee protected and not put pressure against it by resting the foot directly in the center of where the knee rests. Here's a modification here. If your hips are tight and you need support underneath your bent knee, you can use your block. You can use a pillow if you don't have a block. And remember that your block can be adjusted to different layers, different levels. Stretch your arms up overhead. Reach your fingers away from your toes. Take a deep breath in. Keep your arms where they are, but rest them all the way against the ground. So there's a little less action happening in the stretch. Lift your left knee up, right knee. Stretch that right leg away. Bend the left knee. Open the leg, pressing the sole of the foot against your inner thigh or your shin. Stretch your arms up overhead. Release your arms to the ground. 3 cycles of breath here. Feel the sole of your foot resting against your leg. Lift your left knee up. Bring both knees into the chest. We're rocking and rolling up into a seated posture. Tip over to your side and press up if that feels better. Cross the legs. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, tip forward, opening up into downward dog. 2 cycles of breath in your downward dog. Find stillness here. Press the hands down and forward, opening the armpits back toward the toes. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, big steps all the way up between the hands, arriving in forward fold. Bend your knees, slowly roll up, unfurling your way up into mountain pose. Close your eyes as you arrive. Feel your feet on the ground. Sense that foundation broadening energetically, so you have more of a foundation than we do physically. Shift your weight into your left leg. Lift your right knee up toward your chest. Hands on your hips. We're not binding or grasping here with the hands. Now we're going to add on, extending the leg forward, swinging the leg behind, tipping toward a warrior 3, bending the knee, kicking the heel towards your butt, and then shifting the knee forward toward the chest. Extend the leg forward, swing the leg down, back behind, tip the chest forward and down toward the ground, kick your heel toward your butt, bend the knee, lift the knee forward toward the chest. A couple more times. You can go as slow or as fast as you would like to here, and maybe you want to go a little bit faster, so you almost intentionally throw yourself off balance, so then you can intuitively predict that imbalance and simply step your way down. Of course, I know in life when we're slipping on the ice or having an unsuccessful moment of rejection or whatnot, we can't always predict that, but if we stay present in the moment, we can have some sort of sense that something might happen, and then we can respond in a way that keeps us semi-protected. So it might soften the blow a little bit. And that's our intention here today, is falling with grace, not eliminating these moments of falling, but responding in a way where we become graceful and we stay present. One more circle. Step the foot down, step the feet wide, shake out the hips. Take some deep breaths, deep cleansing breaths. Swing the arms side to side. Let's stay balanced on that same left leg, lifting the right foot away from the ground. And now we'll come into tree pose. So first, start with your foundation. Step your foot actively down into the ground. You can simply bring your heel against your inner leg and keep your toes on the ground for extra support and stability. Or you can lift your foot, again, below the knee or above the knee, avoiding any unnecessary pressure directly against our knee. We want to keep that joint protected. And wherever you choose to go, we pick one focal point for the eyes. Focused eyes, focused mind. Pressing the foot into the leg and the leg into the foot, we can maybe bring the hands together in front of the heart. As you're feeling more stable and comfortable, you can expand your tree upwards, opening the branches above your head. Staying active with the foundation. Our left leg is actively rooting down toward the earth, into the earth. So we have activation from the ground to the sky to the ground, and then left to right, side to side, pressing the leg against the foot and the foot against the leg. Wherever you are, stay for 3 more cycles of breath. Notice any sensations arising in the body, like if you get a Charlie horse in your foot, it will pass. Just breathe through it. If you fall out of your tree, we can catch ourselves and reset up our foundation, coming back into the pose. Together, breathe in. And exhale, step down, step the feet wide, shake out the hips. Take some cleansing breaths. And now we'll add a different kind of breath pattern. So we'll breathe in through the nose and then out through a straw. In through the nose, out through a straw. Good. Let's shift our weight into the right leg this time. Hands on the hips. Lift your knee up toward your chest. Check in with your balance. Find one focal point for the eyes. And then we'll start to play with the movement, stretching the leg forward, swinging it down. Behind us, tipping into a very brief warrior three, and you might have to sway your body to one side or the other. Finding your balance, finding your center, being graceful as possible with your shifting. Bringing the knee up again and continuing with this pattern. Moving at your own pace, playing with the movement. A few more rounds here. Being intentional with your movement. So, as I've said, we're not controlling the fall. We're just responding to our movements. But as we're moving, we can be intentional by intentionally lifting the knee up toward the chest, using the psoas, intentionally extending the leg forward, swinging it down, reaching it back, kicking towards the butt, and coming forward again. 2 more circles here. One more time. Take a deep breath in and exhale, step down. Shake out the feet. Loosen up the ankles. We'll come back to standing on that right leg. First, start with your foundation. Spread your foot nice and wide, energetically, so we have a big foundation to balance on. Preparing for tree, we'll bring the heel against the leg, toes on the ground. This is where we get to assess our imbalances from one leg to the other. So you might not go to the same place that you went to on your other leg. You might be able to go a little bit further, maybe bring the foot up higher this time, or maybe you have to back off a bit and keep your toes on the ground. Remembering to protect the knee, staying active from top to bottom and side to side. Rooting the standing leg down, pressing the standing leg against the lifted foot and the foot into the leg, finding one focal point for the eyes. Hands come together in front of the heart. Extend your branches as you're ready. Perfectly fine to wiggle and wobble, remembering to transform our rigidity into fluidity. So there is a sense of being active and holding firm the shape of the posture. And then there's that space where we decide that we can let go of that action and be okay with the fall, be okay with the imbalance, knowing that we can cleanse our palate and start over again. We'll stay here in this moment for 3 more cycles of breath. In and out through the nose. Even if you're wiggling, even if you're falling, come back to your breath. Your breath is your anchor. Together, we'll breathe in one more time. Find expansion in the body and exhale, release the arms. Step wide, shake out the hips, shake out the feet, shake out your Charlie horses. Swing the arms side to side. Loosen up the chest. the heart and the shoulders. Step over to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach all the way up, press your feet into the earth. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift up halfway, engage your upper back, your shoulder blades, reach your palms to the ground. Big steps all the way back into downward dog. 5 cycles of breath here. Now we're integrating. So you stay in your downward dog. I'll bring my knees down so I can talk for a moment. We're integrating 2 breath patterns. You can breathe in and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through your straw. Your choice. And if neither of those work for you, that's fine too. 3 more rounds. Okay, let's shift forward into our high plank, preparing for our chaturanga. You can keep your knees up or bring them down first. Either way, we bend the elbows, squeeze them in toward the ribs, lower the chest to the ground, slither into a low cobra, or all the way up into upward facing dog, elbows extended. Wherever you go, let's stay here for a few cycles of breath. We're dragging the pubic bone up toward the chin and keeping the tops of the feet connected to your mat. Lengthening the front of the body in addition to the back of the body, even though we're adding this mini back bend. One more breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower the chest to the ground. Press up through tabletop and back into child's pose. Connect your big toes, separate your knees, or keep them together, depending on your hip flexors and how they're feeling at this point. We're lowering the belly, the ribs down toward the ground. Rest your forehead on the mat or on a block. Rise up into tabletop. Let's cleanse our palates with some cat-cows. Inhaling to open the front of the torso, exhaling to round the back. Synchronize your breath with your movement here. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Wag your tail side to side, giving a good stretch to the sides of the hips and the sides of the thighs, the upper legs. Add the head and shoulders here. Come back to the center, neutral tabletop. Tuck your toes, take a deep breath in, and exhale, lifting into downward dog. Look forward to your fingers. Separate your hands a bit wider than your shoulders. Now you can tiptoe or step your way through your arms into a seat, or if you want to try a little hop-de-doo, maybe you do a little swing through. That will be a future class, but we won't focus too much on that today. Come all the way down onto your back. Transitioning with at least mental grace, if we don't have the physical grace just yet to get our way through our arms and all the way down to the ground. Flap the feet, loosen the ankles. Travel into your happy baby one more time. Hands around the shins, outer feet, peace fingers around the big toes, and play in your happy baby. Stretching the backs of the legs, stretching the inner thighs and outer thighs. Breathing into each shape of the body, whether you're coming into stillness or your movements are more active and fluid. Release your feet to the ground. Extend one leg at a time, all the way out into our Shavasana, our final resting pose, utilizing this final pose to receive all the benefits of our practice and to integrate any wisdom that we have within our higher selves, to fall with grace, to be here now. Take one more deep breath in through the nose, out through your straw, and allow your breath to return to its own natural rhythm. Soften the forehead, the eyes, the cheeks, and the tongue. Soften the shoulders, the hands, the hips, and the feet. Quieting down to feel the subtle vibrations within the body. Knowing that you did your best today in this short 45-minute class, falling and readjusting, responding, and knowing that you do your best in every moment throughout every day. The falls and the responses are not always perfect, but we always get the opportunity to adapt and start over. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Stretch the arms up overhead, lengthening the whole body. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock and roll up into a seated posture or tip over to your side. And gently press your way up, coming back to where we began. Crossing the legs, sitting on a block or sitting on shins and knees, hands resting on the legs, closing the eyes or focusing your gaze at one point in front of the body. Pausing for one more moment together. Inhale, scoop the arms out and up overhead. Bring in all your energy into your center, hands press against the heart. Thank you for joining me today. Let's bow to seal in our practice, and may we move forward with the intention of falling with grace and to be here now. Thanks. See you next time.